All right. I think we can start now. We're live.
Okay, hi everyone. Good evening.
Okay,
So,
good evening. Good
okay.
evening, Iyanu.
Sorry. Yeah, can you hear me? I think network.
Yes, I can. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Okay,
Can
okay,
you hear
so
me clearly?
yeah, I
See
can
you
hear you, ma.
low, but I can hear you.
Okay, okay, okay. So, this is my cue to start. Okay, so, good evening, everybody. GMGM, it's a pleasure to, be on the call today. And this is like our last management session, rather, in this boot camp. We started from what is product management in Web3. Actually took us, that was like a month ago. And today we'll be talking about from DMs to jobs, what do you do after you've learned everything? What are those career tips you need to know, while they are well a PM? What are those things you need to know to get hired? Right? What are those Sorry about that, please. So, what are those things you need to know to get hired? Iyanu is already a manager, right? She has experience. She knows what to tell you so that you don't make certain mistakes. Career prep basically, like prepping you to expose you to the market, right? So, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Iyanu, she's a return speaker. She featured some weeks ago on our space. Oh my god, she just left, but I'm sure she will join soon. Right, so she featured some weeks ago on our space, and we're so happy that she is back again, to talk to us about product management. Right, so thank you very much, Iyanu. I'm sure she's going to join back in a minute, and then we can get this call started. Thank you.
Sorry, my network went off.
Okay, that's fine. I was trying to introduce you to the rest of the like to the community, right? And then you dropped off, so I was holding on for you to come back. So yeah, I said that Iyanu is a return speaker. She has featured on our session, some weeks ago on product management. And those of you that are in that track, right? Um, yeah, somebody's already asking me. Yes, it's holding, right? Somebody's already asking me if the class is holding. So most of you have been on the track. You must have known her. I think we've had just four speakers lately, right? Or five, but they have talked about basically everything you need to do about product. So I'll implore us to go back and watch the sessions, right? It's made available on the website. Just watch it, take your time and watch it. Even if the class wasn't like you were not flowing properly while the class was going on, just go and watch it and then get yourself together. So thank you very much, Iyanu. Right, Iyanu is a seasoned product manager. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the fact that you're back on board with us. So the floor is over to you, ma. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm very, very happy to have the opportunity to teach you on preparing for your career as a product manager. I think this is the final class, so we'll be covering things that you've learned or possibly learned from your past classes and some other tips that you would need going forward. So I'll share my screen now so I can start the class. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Okay, awesome. So today we are discussing career prep for Web3 product managers. So this is going to be one of the most important part of your journey because apart from learning and building Fox projects what I mean by Fox projects are projects that are to test your knowledge and understanding of what you've been taught in class. You have to understand how to apply the knowledge that you have acquired here in the real world scenario and learn the demands and requirements of companies, of venture capitalists, and different stakeholders that you'd interact with moving forward. So today we are diving into something tangible and learn and focusing on how you can actually step into a Web3 role. So I would start by letting you understand what the real world requires of product managers. So product managers are required to lead a team. Majority of your responsibilities will be dependent on your ability and capacity to lead people. So that takes a lot of emotional engagement, mental engagement, even spiritual engagement as well, because you are interacting with people, you're interacting with systems, and you're also interacting with infrastructure, technological infrastructure. So you have to understand what it actually takes to relate with humans properly and humans physically and remotely. But since you are in Web3, you would interact with people remotely. So communication is something that is very much important. Communication would help you a lot. It would avoid miscommunication and also help you communicate your intentions to your teammates properly so your work can flow with them. So the first thing I would touch majorly would be on how you can build a Web3 product pitch covering vision, which includes problem and solution, features and user experience of the product, tokenomics, roadmap, then team and community. So building a product pitch is very important because it tests your ability to articulate the product vision that you have written down in your product requirements document. Your core goal when pitching a product is to give a real world scenario of a problem that you are solving so that the users can understand. So product management is very much user interactive, which means that you have to be able to explain your ideas properly to a user so they can key into your proposition. Nobody would really buy what you are selling or even trust you if you do not seem like you understand the problem that they are going through. So when people go to hospitals, when people go to healthcare centers, they flow easily with the doctor and trust that the doctor can take care of them because they feel like the doctor just gets them. So people like to be understood. When you are doing a product pitch, you have to actually make sure you are solving a real problem. And beyond that, you must be able to communicate the problem to the user or users so that they understand that they actually have a problem which requires the solution that you are offering. So see your product as a problem, or see your product as something that is solving a problem or a solution to a problem. When you see it as a solution to a problem, it is easier to communicate the problem that you are solving, and also bring your product to the focus of the users so they understand what they are missing out when they do not key into it. Web3 is not just about selling an idea. You have to also tell a compelling story about your product. You have to put it in a way that they understand. Tell a story, give them a real life experience of something they've gone through in their childhood, or give them something about what can happen in future, or just talk to them about somebody's story so that they can key into it. Because a pitch has these components, and potential investors like to understand the problem that you are solving and the solution that you can bring to the table. Very, very essential. So also other one other key thing that can help you is thinking about everyday problems and everyday solutions. So think about problems that people come across every day or people encounter every day, and how you can communicate that same problem in a way that people would understand through communicating problems that they go through every day. So I'm stressing this out because communicating a problem is a very, very foundational point to establishing your product as a solution when pitching. So it's actually really important because there's a time frame for Web3 pitches. When you go for events to pitch a product, you might be given 1 minute to convince the investors or even the users. So within that 1 minute, you must have communicated what the problem is that you are solving and the solution that your product is offering, so people can ask more questions after the 1 minute. If you fail to communicate within a minute, your pitch would seem weak and you might not actually qualify for the next stage if there is a next stage. Sometimes that opportunity to pitch for 1 minute might be all that you've got, so you have to make the best of it. So moving to features and user experience, if you are given more opportunity to speak for a longer time, you can go ahead and talk about the core functionalities of the product that you have built. Talk about how people would use it. Talk about how you have made wallet integration easier. What have you done with gas fees, reducing gas fees? How are they going to confirm transactions? How would they interact with smart contracts? You can go ahead and talk about the kind of blockchain you would be using. Are you going to make use of Polygon? Are you going to be interacting with Solana? Would you be interacting with AVAX, Avalanche, etc.? You have to bring people to base on these info on these things rather, so that they understand and they can see how the product would help them solve their problems and make their life easier, because people like whatever can make their life easier. You have to also walk them through the user journey, show them how somebody has successfully got onboarded to your product and how their journey has actually changed into something more beautiful, into something better. Walk them through the problem that they experienced, how they found your product, probably got referred by a friend, or they just found the website randomly on Google or from your adverts. Then show how they got to use it, how they got to solve a problem with it, even if it's hypothetical, even if it's not real, so that they understand what the experience feels like when using it. Because you have to actually show them something. There has to be proof, even beyond your wireframes, even beyond your mock-ups, even beyond your flow diagrams. You have to actually show people what you've been able to do, because visuals are very powerful. So that takes us to using tokenomics when you are building a Web3 pitch. As much as it is very important to have a strong vision and great features and user experience for your product, it's very important that your product is backed by financial data, and that is where tokenomics comes to play. So your product involves a token, which means that you have to explain its economics. So, what is the token's purpose? Why are you building on a certain blockchain? What benefits does that certain blockchain network serve for the product that you are building? Does it give people more voting rights? Does it help you unlock some special features? Does it reward your users for participating? Are they funding your project in a certain way? Does it represent value for the idea that you are pitching? You have to explain these things. How will rewards be distributed to your users? What's the total supply of what you are building or where you are building on? And how does it help your product stay healthy and sustainable? So it has to be explained as clearly as you explain a business model in building a Web2 project. So make sure that you do not overdo your tokenomics. It does not have to be exaggerated. It has to be something that is realistic. When it becomes exaggerated, people would not believe you and would flag you out as scam or being too optimistic, because business leaders do not appreciate people who are way too optimistic. You have to actually be realistic so that people understand you more and can trust you more with what you are pitching, because trust can be sold and you want to sell trust at this point in time so that your product has the chances that it needs and can take advantage of all the chances that it can get at that point in time. Next up, we go to roadmap. I remember in my last class, I taught you how to build a roadmap. I even gave an assignment. I'm still expecting submissions. I've not gotten submissions. So I explained how you can build a roadmap using Jira, and I also explained how a roadmap works, how it is just like you explaining what you are going to do on a day-to-day basis. It gives you direction, it gives you clarity, it gives your project balance, and it makes you know what team member is responsible for what responsibility, which builds a system around your day-to-day operations as a product manager, which is very interesting because you are not going to be upbeat about nothing, and you would be focused. You would face your duties and deliverables and be able to report to stakeholders better than you normally would without a roadmap. So your roadmap is the product future story. You have to be able to communicate the points that you are now in building your product, where you are coming from, where you are going to, where you hope to be in 5 years and 10 years if necessary, because it's really important that people see that you have a plan for your brand or your product pitch in context. It's really, really important that you have a plan that is solid, even if it's not very clear. Understanding that there is a plan gives people confidence that you can actually build this product, and they would want to trust you with resources because they believe that you can do it. So now moving to team and community. When pitching, strictly do not neglect your team. If you have a team, it's very, very important that you touch on your team's expertise, because you can't do something outside your teammates. It's very important that you acknowledge their expertise, acknowledge their involvement so that they are carried along, because a strong project is backed by strong teammates. So it's very important that you learn and plan how to build your community. You also need to invest in your teammates as much as you invest in your community, because it's the abundance that you invest in your teammates that they will give out to the community. You need to give them your best so that they can give the community their best and they can show up without having bias or having cold feet about your participation with them, and just so that there is no drama or betrayal here and there, make sure that everybody is on the same page. So Web3 sells community. Community is your product in Web3. It's very important that your community is warmed up. It's very important that they understand what you are building, they key into it, they feel like you are building for them, so that they are carried along. It's very, very important. All right. So I think I made a short brainstorm session here, asking if you think Web3 technology has significantly changed the way you ideate and see the world as a product manager. So, is there any student here that would like to answer this question? I'd like to get feedback before I move on to the next step of the class. Okay, I'm waiting for people to answer. Okay, so I'm going to answer the question so we can save time. So Web3 technology significantly changes the way you ideate and see the world as a product manager, inevitably, because when you interact with more information, you become a different version of yourself. So interacting with Web3 technology would help you understand a better way to do things this in this era that we are in, a faster way to do things, and a more interesting way to do things. I mean, instead of receiving dollars using PayPal, it's easier to even receive USDT now. So you would inevitably become a a Web3 evangelist, telling people, oh, this is how to use this technology, this is how to use that technology. Also, the fact that you are a product manager makes it easy for you to empathize. It makes it easy for you to put yourself in the shoes of different people. You can put yourself in the shoes of a random user, a layman. A random user is different from a layman. A random user can be somebody who just pops in, pops out, uses a product, doesn't really know so much about it, or chooses to be ignorant. A layman is someone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge about it and is willing to learn. You also put yourself in the shoes of someone who is well learned and understands how to use the technology properly. You would be able to put yourself in these scenarios and understand how to create solutions for them, even beyond using Web3. You'll become a better problem solver, a better ideator, and that makes you an asset as a product manager. So next up, we'll talk about how to build your Web3 product management portfolio. So firstly, I will touch on showcasing assignments and projects. When you are building your portfolio, you want to be very straight to the point. What I mean by that is your name should be at the top of your portfolio. Your address can be there. When I say address, I don't mean put your street address. You can put your location in a certain country, right? It's very important that you also protect your data as much as you want to be selected for jobs. So if you are in Lagos, put Lagos, Nigeria. If you are in Anambra, put Anambra State, Nigeria. You don't need to put your full address. Make sure you include your phone numbers. Make sure you include your emails. Make sure that the phone number you include, if it's for calls, indicate that it's only for calls. If it's for WhatsApp, indicate that it only goes through for WhatsApp, so it's easier for your employers to contact you. Then make sure that you include your email address. If you can, build your portfolio with a website or build it on a decentralized website. But if you can't, just make sure that you organize these details properly. Then you can go ahead and give a short background story of who you are professionally. You can say something like, oh, my name is Ada and I am a growth driven product manager who has built projects for 3 years now. I understand how to work with this technology, that technology. I am very, very much vast in this, that. So if you do not want to include the amount of experience that you have, you can just go ahead and talk about what your strengths are. This is your portfolio. You don't need to write the things that you are not good on or good at yet or good on working on yet, but just highlight your strengths because they want to see what you can do. Then go ahead and talk about the technologies that you interact with. Go ahead and talk about what you can do. For example, you can go ahead and say you can work using Jira, you can work using Miro. Let me, I think I should go ahead and share. Okay, okay, I can provide some samples after the class so you can see what the portfolio should look like. Okay, so you also want to talk about the technologies you are okay with using. You can talk about how you can use Monday, how you can use Trello. Then next stop, make sure you include certificates that you have been awarded from classes that you have taken. Also make sure that you highlight where you've worked on and how your experiences there would make you more equipped for the experience, for the job that you are applying for. Because what is very important to your employers is how you can actually help them solve their problem. See job applications as problems that you are being the preferable solution to. So you want to pitch yourself as the solution to their problem. You have to pitch yourself and understand their needs and show how you can meet them. So at certain intervals, you might be needed to tweak some details on your portfolio so that you can show that you can meet their needs. One other thing I would like to emphasize on is the hypothetical products that you have built are very, very useful. Do not discard them because you feel like you do not have experience. That's if you don't have experience. People would actually take a look at your hypothetical product and see what you can do. So work on as many hypothetical products as possible. You can work on them. You can even build a team and decide to build the product properly. So on your on your portfolio, make sure that you embed links to these hypothetical products. You can easily do this with Google Docs. You write what you were able to do on the project and then put a link to the PRD, put a link to any necessary documents that would help your employers make very, very good decision or make help your interviewer make a very good decision concerning you so that they can give you the job. So remember one thing that a product management role is very competitive. So you want to give every application your best shot. You want to make sure that your best foot is forward at all times. So you know that when you don't get the job, you actually give your all and you need to put in more work on yourself and gather more experience. So when you do not get jobs as fast as you want to get them, I want you to be encouraged. Just see that character development. Take that time, work on yourself, sharpen your skills, get more knowledge, understand how to work with metrics. Just enjoy that season because you will not be there at a certain point in time and you will be there for a long time. So make sure that you leverage that season by learning, you leverage that season by understanding things that you do not understand about product management. Very, very important that you do not waste that certain point in time. I was going to explain to you that you can easily build your portfolio with Google Docs. You don't need to use any sophisticated platform. You can just use Google Docs. You can also use Notion. Notion is very clean and really easy to link different documents and pages together. So you can work with Notion. Then if you are on the technical product management side, you can play around with GitHub. right? But aside GitHub, just stick to Notion and Google Docs. Very, very interesting to use, very easy to put together all your qualifications, put together everything that you've worked on that is necessary for your portfolio. So remember that quality is very important in your portfolio than quantity. You just have to focus on 2 to 4 really strong relevant projects that you've worked on. Don't throw in everything, because you do not want your portfolio to be too lengthy. You don't want it to be too long, right? People would go through the first 2 pages faster than going through 10 pages. So make sure that it is short, concise, easy to read, easy to understand. Do not use ambiguous word. Don't use big grammar. Use grammar that anybody can understand, whether they're a Web3 native or a Web2 native, right? Then make sure that your projects clearly show your understanding of the blockchain and show your understanding of decentralization. It's very, very important, so that they get to understand your background and see you as a good fit quickly. Then use metrics for your hypothetical products. It's very important that you show them that you are not just about the aesthetics. You want to make sure that your project and your product is very functional. Project and product are similar, right? I like to say project when I'm talking about a team, and I like to say product when I think you are working on a product on your own. So when building them, you have to actually understand your metrics. What are the KPIs you would use to measure growth? You have to communicate them so they see that you are data driven, you are value driven, and you are growth driven. So include flowcharts and screenshots, include diagrams if you are using a certain website to build your portfolio, to help people that are viewing your portfolio visualize. Then do storytelling. Talk about yourself, talk about how you enjoyed what you did, talk about your thought process, talk about your creative process. It makes it more interesting, it makes it less boring, it makes them feel like you are intuitive, like you are not robotic, and you are more interesting to talk to, more interesting to communicate with. People like to have personal communications with people, especially product managers. Also, make sure that your portfolio is easy to navigate and that it looks good. So when you finish working on it, make sure you check what it looks like on your PC, check what it looks like on your friend's phone or someone's phone. Tell somebody else to check for you so you can see what it actually looks like to other people. Because I mean, you would not be assessing your portfolio yourself, you will need to show it to other people. So next we would be touching on searching for jobs and networking the Web3 style. Everyone, even anybody living under the rock, knows right now that Web3 people like to use Twitter a lot, if not other platforms. Web3 people use Twitter a lot, apart from other social media platforms that they like to make use of. So you'll find a lot of Web3 jobs from Twitter. At this point in time, no product manager should say that they do not like to mingle on social media, or they don't want to show up on social media. They don't have a social media account. That at this point in time, anybody that doesn't do that should be thinking, because you would need to get a job and you would need to get them from social media. So having a Twitter account is very important. Networking on Twitter is a bit different from networking on Instagram, because on Twitter it is really, 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 really common to find Web3 builders, find venture capitalists, find founders, and even other Web3 PMs like you talking about stuff, talking about a certain blockchain network, trading about a certain topic, or just contributing to something about Web3. So you want to engage thoughtfully, reply to threads thoughtfully, add value to their discussion, and share great great thought processes with them on Twitter. You want to recognize as somebody who is a valuable contributor. So make sure that your account is optimized. Speak briefly about what you do on your bio. make sure that your cover photo is on point, and make sure that you are contributing to the right conversation so the opportunities that you are looking for can find you. Also, make sure that you share your learnings, talk about what you are discovering, talk about your project ideas, talk about your analysis of Web3 trends, showcase your passion, showcase your knowledge. You can also contribute to search for roles, search for grants, communicate that you are searching for a role, because whatever you throw out is what you would actually get. Now, another very big networking platform for Web3 builders is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is very much full of recruiters. So you can connect with recruiters on LinkedIn and submit job applications. LinkedIn is very much professional than X, so you need to optimize your profile, and the summary of your profile should scream Web3 PM. So you can use keywords like Web3 product manager. Like on my LinkedIn account, the first keyword is Web3 product manager. So anybody who is searching for somebody in Web3 can find me easily. So these are easy SEO keywords you can use so that people can find you. Use Web3 on your profile on LinkedIn so people can find you easily. Use blockchain, use DeFi, right? So connect strategically to people. Then one very big tip about connecting with people is to send a message when you are sending a connection request. You don't want to connect to people blankly. So attach a message to your connection requests to people. You can just talk to them about how you love what they are doing on LinkedIn, how you want to connect with them so you can learn more from them. Do it genuinely. Don't just connect with somebody because they are popular or because you feel like you would get more value from them. Remember that people like to also receive value. So don't just connect to somebody because you want to milk them of value. It's very unfair. So connect strategically with people and with the right intentions. Do it for the right purposes. Show them that you want to learn from them. Show them the projects you are working on and why you genuinely admire them. Then if you are also searching for a job, you can communicate that. On LinkedIn, you find job applications easily. You see companies searching for certain professionals and you can apply those. Make sure you engage with Web3 content, share relevant articles. On LinkedIn, you can share long form content, you can even share articles, you can create a newsletter, join relevant groups, and you can also join some certain social media movements. A popular social media movement on LinkedIn that I know is social Saturdays. So every Saturday they connect with like-minded industry leaders or industry professionals, and when you take part of it, you meet other people who are Web3 product managers or people who even require your services. Now, we're not going to neglect community channels in Web3 like Discord, Telegram, and certain DAOs depending on different networks. Telegram has become the new WhatsApp for Web3 natives. So Telegram is very important. It's the direct or go to engagement platforms of or so rather it's the direct or go to engagement platform of projects and even communities. So make sure that you are active on Telegram. Make sure that you join projects on Discord so you can understand their projects and how you can even contribute. Now, one very big tip that I would also give to you is that all these Web3 projects that are launching, some of them are actually hiring, and you can apply to join their team, or you can even pitch to them how you would become a valued contributor on their projects, even when they might not be paying you salaries or might not be paying you as much. Sometimes you want to do it for the exposure, so when you get to the certain point where you can apply to another job, that's maybe after a certain point in time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, you would have that experience. You have that experience and it has contributed to your growth, and it makes it easier for you to even apply for better jobs. So read the documentation of these projects, read their roadmaps so that you can ask them thoughtful questions and you can help them So when they see that you can help them and they understand that you are genuinely invested, they will definitely give you a chance to work with them. So make sure that you participate in DAOs, be involved in attending AMAs and community calls on Discord and on X. Very important, because people like people who are very much interested in their goal. Then a very, very big help when networking and applying for jobs in Web3 is Web3 job board. So there's this website called web3.com, if I'm correct. They post Web3 jobs exclusively. They post any job related to Web3. So you can check it out so that you can apply for jobs on that website. So you can check Web3 career. Yes, it's Web3 dot career, not Web3 jobs. No, there's another one called Web3 jobs. So check Web3 career, check Web3 jobs. You can check crypto jobs too. Those are the platforms I know right now that would work for finding Web3 jobs now and in future. So preparing for interviews, I prepared some common questions that a Web3 product manager should be able to answer. You have to be able to understand the concept of this decentralization, understand it like the lines on the palm of your hands, because everything that you build in Web3 is centered on how well you understand decentralization. You have to understand how a Web3 product is supposed to function, and you have to understand the basic metrics to measure product growth. It's very essential that beyond building the product, having a vision and a very strong mission, you understand metrics that would measure product growth. It's just like you weighing yourself to understand if you are adding weight from your diet plan or if you are losing weight, so you can make necessary changes. You also have to understand the essence of a product manager, because it will help you understand your role on the team and function accordingly. Also understand what tools a product manager makes use of. It's very important that you are very, very vast in the use of tools necessary for making your job easy. So expect questions that will test your foundational Web3 knowledge in interviews, because they want to see if you get it. They want to see if you understand how to use the technology. So understand why Web3 is different from Web2, why Web3 is important, understand why Web3 is even the future, and make sure you can explain the blockchain in very simple terms. The last class, I explained how to use a smart contract, how products interact with smart contracts, and why it is very important. So you must understand why it's very important, so you can keep it in mind when you are being asked this question. So make sure that you stay updated with Web3 trends also. Don't be that product manager that does not know what trend is going on right now in Web3 technology. Follow the right sources. You don't need to follow everyone, but make sure you follow people who are steady talking about cryptos, talking about Web3. I don't talk so much on my socials, but I do follow people who talk a lot and who are very, very much up to date on the trends and challenges of Web3 right now. So, one other thing that is very important for you to understand in an interview is that they would ask you core Web3 questions. They would ask you how you would gather user feedback for them, and they would ask you how you prioritize features for them. So you would also be asked to give very, very relatable answers. What I mean by this is they can ask you to give an answer to a scenario that they created, or they can tell you, oh, what do you do when a product is launched and the user is agitated and we don't know where the bug is? So you have to be able to answer, you have to be able to give them a reason for how you would solve the problem, or a reason why the problem is happening rather, and give them a way out of the problem, so that they would understand that you have knowledge of the certain scenario and you'd be a great fit for them. So these are the questions I know that you will be asked, that apart from them asking you about goals, user personas, core features, and even tokenomics. So it's really, really important that you understand all these things. Yes, something that's very important that they'll ask you again is your metrics for success. So you have to understand how to work with metrics, how to determine if your project is successful. So it's very important that you know how to communicate that. So show them how structured your thinking is and how deep your understanding is, and how you would thoughtfully consider challenges and consider anything that needs to be considered when you are building a project. So now we're moving to key Web3 trends to watch out for. One very important trend that I think is even common right now is the use of AI in Web3. So AI is growing massively and rapidly. So we should see how AI can be used for on-chain analytics to get smart insights from blockchain data, how AI can be used for smart contract auditing, how we would have decentralized AI networks. I think we already have projects like that. Then we would have personal decentralized application experiences. So it's very, very important to look out for AI trends, and we should also look forward to more cross-chain interoperability. That is a lot of blockchains working to each other, more blockchain bridges embedded on projects. It's going to be really, really interesting when there is broader adoption, so that more users and more features would actually be shipped out to the ecosystem. So these are the core trends I know. Apart from these trends, the trends I see coming up, or trends that I see that are already in place now, is the use of zero knowledge proofs. So zero knowledge proofs allow you prove that something is true without revealing underlying data. So it uses confidential computing to prove that something is actually true. So the impact of zero knowledge proofs is that private transactions can be held with verifiable credentials and identity being kept securely without putting it on a public ledger. So it's very, very interesting for many use cases. So that brings us to the end of this career session. I have covered how you can create a compelling Web3 product pitch, the importance of building a strong portfolio. I've also shared effective job search and networking strategies on platforms with you, how to prepare for interviews, and I've shared some common Web3 questions for you. Then I also rather with you, and I also talked about some trends coming up in Web3 and some trends that we currently have. So one other advice I'd like to share with you for an interview is to stay very calm. I don't know how people react on interviews, but I do know that if you are I don't know how everyone reacts on interviews here, but I do know that if you are not calm enough, you would mess your interview up, because you would not be confident in yourself to give the right answers, and you might even flop because you'll be so scared to talk. So just be very calm, very calm. It's very important that you are calm and that you trust yourself. You might fail, but just remember that you are failing forward. And that's what is actually important, because you are not staying where you used to stay or where you used to be. You are getting better, and you will only get better by being exposed to uncomfortable situations such as interviews. So just keep learning, keep building, and make sure that you are part of communities that would be a great support to you through your journey as a product manager. So, do you have any questions
Yeah, no,
or
thank you so
anything you'd like to
much.
talk about? All right, welcome.
So I'm checking if there are questions. Just give me a sec. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, there are no questions, right? As of now, there's no questions.
Okay,
Anything else you want
awesome.
to say to conclude?
I wanted to show. Okay, let me just show them what a structured portfolio should look like. Let me get on the document so I can just give. I'll give an example with my portfolio.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can.
Why can't I hear any?
I can hear you. I can actually hear you.
All right. Okay. Like I said, you can conclude. I know I can't hear into my laptops too, but you can
Can you hear
conclude
me
and
now?
then you can call it a night. But thank you so much for the massive. All right.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. You can share that. You can share what the portfolio should look like. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Let me start my screen share again. So I'll briefly just walk you through what a portfolio should look like. So this is something that I've worked on before. You see, I highlighted my name just like I said. I highlighted my role, my phone number, my email, my LinkedIn profile, and my each site. I've not. This is just another edit I have. Usually, it's great if you put if this number is your WhatsApp number. So I can say WhatsApp. It's easy for them to reach me. So you see, I added a professional profile. I gave a short description of what I can do, what I'm acquainted with, what I'm about. Talk about industry knowledge, and I went ahead to outline my key skills. I talk about certifications and how strong the knowledge I have of the product management tools I have worked with is. Then you see where I talk about my experience. I highlighted what I have done, where I have worked, how long I've worked there. You see that I embedded some links. So it's very important that you embed the links to MVPs that you worked on, Figma files, PRDs, presentation slides, you see even hypothetical products, so that when once they click on it, it just takes them. You can see here, it takes them directly to what you worked on. Once they click on the MVP, they automatically see the link and can just go there directly and view everything that you worked on. You also want to talk about other things about yourself, maybe your voluntary profile, your accomplishments, your education. You can list your referees if they actually require you to list your referees. So that is all I would be sharing with you, and I hope this helps you to start up and take off with your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yano. That was quite in depth and very, very, very full of value. Right, all right, guys. Just Make sure you okay. This is was streamed live to our X handle, so you can go back to watch it again, and also to our YouTube. So you can watch it again. And the most important thing about these sessions we've been having is the practical part of it. Make sure that you put this into practice and testimony. All right. So thank you again for your time, Iano. Do also make sure you can follow her, and follow her on X, and I think they can chat you up or reach out to you as well if they have questions. I don't know if that's allowed.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
All right, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, awesome. All right, so you can reach out to her. Just check handle and to see her um check our handle to see her tag, her username on X, and then follow her, ask her questions, and then good night, everybody.